There are things about Spain that are really hard to sort of talk about. Well, they're not difficult to talk about. The thing is, I guess I have trouble conveying the feelings, the atmosphere of something related to this country at times, and things that are, in my opinion, basically so unique in their totality that even if I showed you a video, it might not be the same thing. It might help, but still. Anyway, one of them is the fiesta, the pueblo, the town festival. Even in big cities too. Sometimes they call them street parties, which is sort of a pretty good description, but I'm not sure if it's quite the same thing. Anyway, but the pueblos are just a whole different ballgame, in part because this is like the culminating moment of the year for these towns. So they just go all out and they just blow. I don't know what percentage, but it's a surprisingly high percentage of their annual budget on 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, up to, even a week of partying. That in a lot of ways makes you think maybe they should save some of that money and put it into better use. I'm also not sure if the city really, in terms of tourism, in terms of people coming and spending, really benefits that much. Obviously, the restaurants and the bars will do quite well, so it's a bonus for them. But I'm not sure if the town as a whole benefits too much for them, but maybe they do. Anyway, I was at this show. It was August 14th, 2 nights ago. And that's the night before August 15th, which is a holiday. And as I was telling people in a different podcast, that this is the big night of the year. This is where there are more towns in Spain celebrating fiestas than at any other time. It was somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,200 towns and cities. And I would say, if not all of them, the vast majority will be having these concerts that night. And by concerts, mostly they're not famous people. They are these professional performers. They're bands, so to speak, but they go a little bit beyond that because they aren't just copying any kind of music. They just sort of go all over the entire range of popular music to reach all ages. And they're called orquestas or bandas. Sometimes they just call them bands. The one I was watching called itself the 8.5 Band. And, to their credit, they do a really good job for what they're trying to do. I mean, they get out there and they just power their way through 2 hours, 2.5 hours of nonstop music without really taking a break, even between songs, practically. And they don't do full songs. They just, what they do is they do about 30 seconds sometimes, or a minute, minute and a half of a very famous song, and then switch into another one and over again. And they just keep going. And then they have these videos in the background that are synced with the music. And one thing that I was thinking about while I was watching this was just how much time must go into the preparation of these shows, and to think that these are groups that really make their money in July, August, and September, maybe 3 months a year. I really, other than an exceptional moment, I can't really think of them working at another time of the year. They come in with their own trailer truck, which is the stage. It's 30 feet high, tons of lights, soundboards. It's a major production. So that was one thing that was sort of blowing me away. And this is going on all over the country because I was sending videos to my daughter, who was in another part of Spain, 600 kilometers away. That's 400 miles more or less. And I was showing her what I was watching, and then she sends me a video. Hey, this is what we're watching. And it looked like almost the same place, same stage, same type of thing. And that's because that's what people do. And this is what I was talking about. This is this thing that you find in Spain that is so peculiar. special about it. There is really nothing like it. First of all, I'm talking maybe 1 or 2 in the morning, and there are hundreds of people in the main square, well over 1,000, I'm sure, in the main square, of all ages, obviously mostly young people, anywhere from teenagers to young adults, and then adults more my age, and then senior citizens, and then younger children. And it's just everyone is there. Some are listening to the music, some are just watching, seeing what's going on, others are dancing. Then you have the different groups, the what they call the peñas, which are these clubs of friends, groups of friends who get together. They're wearing the same T-shirt. They're bringing in their own coolers for drinks, but it's not out of control. It's just people having a good time. They're playing music, sort of the classics throughout the decades, for all ages, but songs that everyone knows. And so everyone's just enjoying themselves for the sake of enjoying themselves. And the Spanish are excellent at that. They're very good at that. And while we were having a good time ourselves and enjoying ourselves, I was thinking about this. I was thinking, geez, I wish I had, friends and family from back home. If I could just show them what this is all about, because this is just an incredible experience. It's not just major partying to death, although there are people who go on for hours and hours, but it's not raucous debauchery. It's almost family-like. Later on in the evening or later on at nighttime as they get to dawn, well, it can get a little crazy, but for the most part, one thing to say for the Spanish is that they're pretty good at controlling themselves when it comes to partying, for the most part. And so anyone who comes to Spain, if they get a chance, especially if you're here in summer, try to find these small town fiestas, because you're just experiencing something that you probably won't find in a lot of places in the world. If any place. It's this union of just everyone enjoying themselves, having a good time. Then after the music, for example, and let's to give you more examples here. When we finished the first set and we were going to go home, we were going to be like the first ones to go home. We're talking 2 o'clock in the morning. While they were taking a break from the set, before they went on, they just started a bingo game in the middle of this, sort of during the break. During the intermission, and the whole town was playing bingo at 2:30 in the morning. And then you had your food stands, your churros and your sandwiches, and then the cafes were still open. So if you want to go for a cafe, if you want to go for a coffee, take a break, you could do that. Or if you just want to go home, is what we eventually did. But anyway, it has this combination of just relaxed atmosphere, and at the same time then really fun and really energetic. And I will reiterate here that this is something that I recommend anyone who wants to get a feel for what the Spanish do so very well during the summer, and what's a very typical thing to do in the summer. And you get a real feel for what Spanish society is like and how the Spanish interact with each other in this sort of situation. And you're going to find that you're probably going to see things that you've never really seen in other parts of the world. I say that with a caveat, knowing that there are plenty of places that I don't know about, so I may be wrong there. But it's something I particularly like about Spain, and I just want to share that with you. And that'll be all for this quick, or was supposed to be quick, episode by Brian Spain Domain on understanding Spain. And if you've enjoyed it, please press like. If you'd like to get more videos and podcasts from us, please press the subscribe button. And if you'd like to support us, please go to the websites where you can donate via PayPal, or you can go to the Patreon link and support us on a regular basis. Thank you very much. We'll be back soon. Stay well, stay safe, and hasta pronto.